news today. So yesterday, if you remember, we told you the story about the federal government taking a look at Mount Cristo Rey and possibly taking over part of the site. Well, today we have an update on that story. The Department of Justice, in a statement to KTSM, says that the federal government wants to actually take over a strip of land at the base of Mount Cristo Rey. That would be along the U.S.-Mexico border. Now, in the statement, a DOJ spokesman says that the federal government's civil action is not to impact activity or use of the shrine where the statue of Jesus Christ is. We reached out to the Diocese legal team. They say they have no comment at this time.
So another yet development. Again, for people that are just getting into this story, the United States government wants to buy essentially a part of the land on the diocese land that involves Mount Cristo Rey. A lot of people are thinking, oh my God, they're going to break down the statue. Statue's not really in question, but the land is still very much in question.
Yes.
Like this part of the area that they're trying to buy, you can see it there in red, that little sliver there on your screen, to the south of the mountain is in question. Remember earlier in the year we showed that video of folks blowing some stuff up down there, getting ready to build perhaps a border wall down there. Yeah. I want to ask you guys this question because we didn't get to this the last time we talked about it. I get mixed reports when it comes to Mount Cristo Rey and illegal immigration. Some people tell me, oh, yeah, people come across all the time. It's a pretty big hotspot. Then I hear other people say, like, it's not really that great of a place to come over.
It's not.
But two things could be true there, right?
Yes.
Like, people could still try to come over there, and it might not be a great area.
Yeah, it's tough terrain, that's for sure. Totally tough terrain. But, yes, ever since the day I moved here, I have heard those anecdotal stories about how there's always crossings, and we always get warned, don't go up the mountain alone. A lot of banditos, we were told.
Yeah.
Or at least I've been told that for years. So, I mean, there is an issue with that.
Yeah.
How much of that is prevalent today, though, versus how prevalent was that 20 years ago?
You know, I think it was much more prevalent 20 years ago because honestly, it was kind of like it was just there.
Yeah.
You know, and the Border Patrol occasionally, patrolled it. They kept an eye on things. And I think mostly because people would go up there alone and get into trouble. Yeah. You know. Now, having said that, it is not an easy mountain to traverse.
No.
Even
That's what
the
I see when I look at it. I'm like, I know I'm hearing people come across here, but I don't know how they do it.
And that's one of the reasons why there is no border wall in that section.
You can't get there.
Because it's hard to build on,
Although I do think that would be something really interesting to look into. Like if you can get like Border Patrol records of how many arrests and apprehensions have been made in that specific area, that would be an interesting number to look at.
And nobody is saying we don't want the border to be properly, taken care of, properly
I think
managed.
Everybody wants that area to be safe specifically.
And of course we want that area to be safe, absolutely. But at the same time, I think what I'm hearing from a lot of my friends who are Catholics, the biggest thing that they're worried about is the prevalence of the federal government to say, we're not going to touch this, and then it gets destroyed.
Sure. Right.
Yeah.
So they're worried to death about this almost 100-year-old statue being hurt in some way or being completely obliterated.
And even though, they've already said, they're clarified that no, they're not taking any part of the road that leads up to the statue or the trail itself, the fact that they're nearby might impede on someone's, you could argue, religious freedom.
Yeah. Because they might be afraid to go up there for whatever reason.
Because it's going to have a lot of surveillance. It's going to have cameras. It'll have Border Patrol agents.
Yeah.
It'll have a whole lot of everything.
Yeah, and the helicopters around that area are crazy too.
Sure.
So I see the argument for not having it there. Right? It's like we want this to be a quiet site.
Yes.
We want this to be a
holy site.
sacred site.
It's a site of pilgrimage.
Right.
Yeah.
That people come from all over to see, not just here. I mean, people come from Mexico, people come from all over the Southwest to see it. So I see it. I am interested, though. Maybe we got to dig in deeper. I know, Raul, thank you for pulling that up on Google there, that some of those stats there about some of the smuggling operations that have happened in the past, that's, of course, being credited to U.S. Customs and Border Protection. But it would be interesting to dig into those stats to see, just how prevalent has that been. Maybe not 20 years ago, but how much of it is actually happening today.
Today.
In the last couple of years. I think it's an interesting point to dig in on.